This episode was made in partnership with Yeti. For more information on Yeti's products, head to the link in the video description. Alright, so the first step to making tamales is making tamal filling, 3 different iterations of which I will be demonstrating. First up, some braised beef. I got a nice 4 or 5 pound chuck roast here that I'm going to liberally season with kosher salt, plop it in my favorite Dutch oven, and add 2 beef bouillon cubes, 1 large onion peeled and quartered, just kind of tuck it in there or put it under the roast if you have to, a half a dozen whole peeled cloves of garlic, and 1 tablespoon of oregano, preferably Mexican oregano. And that's it. We're just going to put enough water in the Dutch oven to almost cover the roast and braise in a 275-degree Fahrenheit oven, preferably with convection, for 3 to 4 hours, taking it out and giving it a flip once or twice during cooking. You know it's done when it's deeply browned and super duper tender. While that's braising, we're going to make an accompanying chili paste. I got 4 ancho, 4 pasilla, and 6 guajillo chiles, all of which I'm going to de-seed, devein, and tear into 1-inch pieces. Place them into a medium saucepan and dry roast them over medium heat for 1 to 3 minutes or until fragrant but not smoking. Then we're quenching these with just enough water to cover, adding 4 or 5 cloves of garlic and half a small onion roughly chopped. Then we're covering, bringing to a boil, and simmering for 15 minutes before pureeing in a high-powered blender, with just enough cooking liquid to make it thick but still pourable. After a few hours, once the beef is out the oven and it shows no resistance when stabbed with a paring knife, we're going to retrieve it from the braising liquid, separate the fat and meat, shred the meat, and toss it with a little bit of the chili paste, seasoning to taste with a pinch of kosher salt and a few twists of freshly ground black pepper. And there you have it, braised beef for tamales. Now, let's take a look at a chicken option. Chicken for tamales is usually poached and then sauced. My favorite way to poach chicken for virtually any context is to butterfly it, bring a couple quarts of water to a boil, kill the heat, drop in the chicken, and cover it up, letting the carryover heat slowly and gently bring the chicken up to 155 degrees Fahrenheit at its thickest point, which, depending on the amount of chicken and the amount of water, should take between 12 to 18 minutes. This is almost like a super quick, super easy sous vide method that keeps the chicken moist and tender. Shred it up and let it cool, and then to sauce it, we're going to make a sort of quick salsa verde. I have here 9 tomatillos, 2 jalapenos, and 1 poblano pepper, which I'm going to throw under a high-powered broiler for 2 to 5 minutes until we get some nice color on there. Cover with aluminum foil and allow to steam for 10 minutes, so as we can easily remove everybody's skin and the stems and seeds of the peppers. Dump all these guys into your blender along with half a small onion, roughly chopped, 2 cloves of chopped garlic, a pinch of kosher salt, a few twists of freshly ground black pepper, and 1 single leaf, alright fine, a bunch of cilantro. Stems, leaves, the works. Blend until pretty smooth, but it still has a good chunk to it. Then once both it and the chicken have cooled, go ahead and let them get to know each other. You can do this same day or cover in fridge overnight to really let the flavors meld. Now you might be asking yourself, Andy, what do I do with this water I poached the chicken in? Just throw it away? And the answer is no. We're going to strain it and use it in our tamale dough, which calls for 24 ounces of masa harina and 24 to 26 ounces of very hot water. And this chicken water is obviously going to bring more flavor than, regular water. You could also use the braising liquid from the beef. Add enough water so that when you mix it together, it forms a crumbly but shapeable dough, which we're going to cover and let rest for 15 minutes, during which time we're going to whip us some fat, 14 ounces of lard to be precise. Everything that I'm using here might look a little small, and that's because I'm doing a half batch, and you'll see why. We're beating the lard together with 2 teaspoons each kosher salt and baking powder, beating on high speed, scraping down the sides of the bowl, and beating again until it's light, fluffy, and pliable. Then all we have to do is make a huge mess and regret everything. Then add the crumbly masa harina dough, clean up the mess, and mix together until it forms a smooth, spreadable paste, adding more chicken water until necessary until you hit the right texture. Now, are tamales still accomplishable without a stand mixer? Yes, of course they are. It's just harder. Just like all things in life without a stand mixer, we just basically need to cream together the fat and the baking soda and salt by whipping it around as much as we can by hand. Once you got it nice and smooth and soft, go ahead and add the crumbly dough and knead until a homogeneous spreadable paste. Now, there are such a thing as dessert tamales, and they're very easy to make. Simply add 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar to your completed dough, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, and some fruit. I'm going with 4 ounces of finely chopped pineapple and 3 ounces of black raisins, but you could use apples, nuts, anything you want. It's also popular to add a bit of red food coloring to dessert tamales to visually differentiate them from savory ones. Just mix her up until everybody's well incorporated and the dough is a lovely shade of pink. Now the last thing we gotta do is soak some corn husks. You can either soak them in water for 24 hours or soak them in hot water for 3 hours. Once soaked, we're gonna dry them off a little bit, but mostly we're gonna sort them, the widest and most intact husks being ideal for tamales, the misshapen or broken ones being perfect for tearing into ties. At long last, we're finally ready to get rolling. To fill the tamales, you want to smear between a third to a half a cup of the tamale dough onto the center of the upper half of the husk, into a rectangle about 6 by 4 inches and a 1/4 inch thick. Place a nice little landing strip of filling down the center of the dough, and use the husk to wrap the dough up and around the filling, making sure that the dough completely envelops the filling before folding the corn husk shut. You can squeeze the bottom a bit like a tube of toothpaste to help shape the tamale, fold up the bottom of the husk, and tie it using a length of torn husk. And there you have it, a braised beef tamale, pretty as you please. Same exact method for the chicken tamale, and really the only difference with the sweet tamale is that you want to put a little more filling in there, so that it's the same size and shape as the savory guys. Roll it shut and tie it up. Now my ultimate tamale making trick is to pull a sort of Tom Sawyer move. Act like you're having the time of your life and convince your friends that it's the most fun thing in the world and sign them up to do it. Before you know it, you'll be napping on the couch and they'll be done with the whole batch, which are now ready to be steamed. Which is a simple enough process. We just want to stack them all in a steamer basket so that the fillings are facing skyward. Cover the tamales with a few of your unused soaked corn husks and a moist, clean kitchen towel. Place the basket over an inch of water set in a big old stock pot, cover them up, and steam them for 1.5 to 2 hours, then letting them rest in the pot for another 30 minutes. You know that they're done when they have a firm, springy texture and they come out of the corn husk cleanly. Stack them up and there you have it. 3 kinds of sweet and savory tamales. I'm going to try out one of the braised beef ones first. I'm going to smear it down with some Honduran crema. If you can't find that, just mix a little lime juice with some sour cream and a little scoop of salsa roja. And there you have it, one of my all-time favorite comfort foods. These guys are easy to make, but they're very labor intensive and time consuming. But you make them in huge batches, and once cooked, they both freeze and travel beautifully. So they are perfect for parties and friends' houses. And the perfect way to get them there is with today's sponsor, Yeti. I was able to load all my tamales up in the super reliable Rody 24 hard cooler, which will keep your food warm until needed or keep it good and cold until you get to your destination. So I was able to hand deliver hot tamales to my friends and family. For more info on Yeti's products, head to the link in the video description.